What is up, guys? Welcome to a brand new video. So today we're going to check out the new Blade of the Ruined King and who it's actually better on now after the big changes. I'm going to look at the main one, so chances are I might miss one or two, so make sure you let me know of any others in the comments as well. Before we get into it, I just want to remind you that we're teaming up with Haste this month on the channel to hopefully help a bunch of you on the NA servers get a more stable connection to League, meaning less lag, lower ping, and stopping those random spikes. Plus, I'm giving away some RP every time I mention it. Even though I'm actually from the UK, I can use it when I'm going onto the NA servers. This is my ping now and on a good day as well, around 117. It tends to go up and down quite a lot, but this is now with haste turned on. So 105 is slightly better, but there's also steady, and it's not going to jump up or down because if there's an issue, haste auto swaps me onto another one of their direct lines. It's in free beta. Go and give it a try using the link down below, and as always, leave a comment, like the video if you do, to win the $25 of RP. Right, so the new bulk then, what is actually different? 25% attack speed, 40 AD, 15% lifesteal, 8% current health, the minimum is 15 damage now, and the active deals 100 magic damage and also steals 25% move speed for 3 seconds, all for the lovely price of 3,300 gold. If we compare that to an Infinity Edge Rush, right, it's 70 AD, 20% crit and more crit damage bonus on there as well. So that is 30 less AD if we get a Borg, but 25% attack speed, 15% lifesteal, 8% current health damage, and 100 magic damage burst. That's not really that bad, right? Like, even though people are calling this item trash, if I offered you 30 AD, or you could have all of this other stuff and you can have 300 extra gold, what would you take? So comparing it to the old bulk though, that was changed, like it's more AD and less attack speed, which means it's better earlier, especially in the lane phase, and 100 magic damage plus the on-hit minimum is also more than before as well. 5% more lifesteal, so it's not half of Bloodthirster anymore, which is much better for healing, and it also replaces the lifesteal we lost from Warlords in lane as well. It allows Fervor to be used properly, and it's so much easier to play with as well. Basically, it's more efficient as an item in lane. That's the easiest way to put it. Now, a lot of you are going to look at this and say, wow, 5% extra lifesteal, who cares? And well, actually, there is a big reason you should care. 5% or lifesteal in general actually means more with a blade. Like the 8% health damage you do on hit actually is physical damage. Because it's physical, it applies lifesteal and is also reduced by armor as well. So that means you want to make sure you're building a Last Whisper at some point. But with this buff though, specifically, it's not just an extra 5% of the 40 AD and whatever else is on your auto attack for the lifesteal. It's 5% extra on that percentage health damage as well. Every bit of lifesteal is more effective than it seems when you have a blade. I guess that is a good way to put it. So what does this actually mean for the game, right? Who are the main champions that got a buff because of the change? Kalista is a big one, and yeah, I know, right? Like everybody in the comments is gonna be like, you need attack speed to stack her E, and that's where all the damage comes from. And yeah, kind of, but like her Q is 100% AD ratio and her E is 60% AD. This is why people get Fervor on her. Like she's so good with Fervor because it buffs her E damage. Like all of that AD you're stacking up while you're stacking your Rens is just gonna make it do so much more. You kind of have attack speed overload in your build anyway, so you're not gonna miss the 15% as much, especially later into the game. 5% more lifesteal actually means more for Kalista as well. So one, with any Fervor user, you're actually getting more AD from Fervor. So you're going to be healing more, and 5% of more AD is going to be more overall. I hope that makes sense. That was a bit confusing. But also Runins with the 3 bolts, you're going to be lifestealing on all 3 of those bolts. That means any bit of extra lifesteal is 5% increase on the first target, the second target, and the third target. Also, Mercurial, similar to the third item, is actually really good on Kalista because if you lock her down, then she can't kite. But that was only 10% lifesteal, and it was 10% with bulk before, so it's actually 25% now instead of 20. The 100 magic damage kind of solves her burst problem as well. Like she's really bad 1v1 with an enemy AD carry because they usually burst her before she gets those Ren stacks in, but this 100 damage can help a little bit. So overall, it's a better item in the lane phase for her to rush instead of a runes. Like you go bulk and then runes afterwards. It's already super strong actually, but it's now just stronger. Ezreal is another one where lethality gets boned and he gets a kind of buff actually. You got to be happy with that if you play Ez. The attack speed loss actually is two-sided. So one, it doesn't really matter as much because you have your passive for it anyway, and kind of your W if you arcane shift into it, which looks really cool, but it's kind of pointless. Well, I guess you get the attack speed at least. Remember, a lot of your damage is coming from your Q, which is not attack speed reliant anyway, but the downside is your mana mute. So when you actually transfer that into your Mura mana, your autos are going to start doing a lot of damage. This is really where you want more attack speed so you can be attacking with your Mura mana, because that is going to be a lot of your damage percentage actually. You only tend to get one lifesteal item in the game as Ezreal. It's going to be Blade pretty much every single time, plus Fur actually, so lifesteal is going to mean more for you. It's mainly the more Q damage though. That's where most of your damage is going to come from throughout the game, and you're having more AD on it anyway. So moving on to Twitch, it's actually proving a really good item home so far, even as a rush, which I didn't expect. The problem is it's going to delay your triple crit power spike, but it does offer more early, so it's kind of that trade-off where we're going to delay our spike a little bit mid-game, but we are going to have a much better early, and you kind of want to because you're Twitch and you want to snowball. More AD means more E damage, which is so so good on Twitch. Like, it's why you run further. Like, you're going to be stacking up the poison anyway. On your auto attacks, you stack up further at the same time, and your E will do more damage. You can still go into crit afterwards as well. That still works really well with the build. Plus, the 100 magic damage is more burst, and ideally, you want to find lower health targets alone anyway, rather than a big tank. I'm going to kind of side note this for any triple crit building AD carry. So chances are you cannot kite properly with that much attack speed anyway. Let's be real. You get like 40% from runes, 35% from shiv, 40% from the old blade. That's 115% just from items, not even like masteries and runes and stuff. The fact you lose 15% really does not matter that much. You're probably not using it all anyway. It means that for champions who don't have like that many abilities to do damage with the blade is going to be a pretty good sub in to make your life a bit easier mid game. It delays your triple crit build, but it gives you a better immediate spike in my opinion. So for like someone like Caitlyn though, you don't want to do this. Watch me say that and everyone start doing this anyway, but runes is such a good item on her because of her passive. It's going to stack faster and you get more headshots. Someone like Tristana though doesn't really have an obvious synergy with runes, so Bork is actually good in her first 3 item build. That's kind of where Vayne comes in the same idea as well. Finally she's back I think with this a bit more. The blade lifesteal lets us go further and the damage is absolutely nuts. Like blade into attack speed then Infinity Edge is a really nice build at the moment. You rely on the blade to duel and to lifesteal further for mid game damage with your W, and then you have your Infinity Edge and crits after that. 100 magic damage is better in a 1v1 AD carry duel, and to be honest her W has percentage health anyway, so it's not that bad that we lost it. More AD means more tumble damage, more lifesteal means you can survive early, plus we have the further as well. So let's move on from AD carries. I've kind of covered most there. I think you could probably build it on any single AD carry at the moment and it'd be okay, but those are going to be the best. Now Xin is basically like an AD carry anyway, I guess actually. Like there's more lifesteal, right, which is good for him. He gets attack speed from his kit anyway, plus Trinity Force, which is like the new go-to build. More AD and the magic damage active is going to be more burst, and this fits into his build more I think. With Blood Razor or Trinity or both I guess, you don't need as much attack speed anyway, and it gives us some more upfront damage. This is where we have to look at Visage as well, Spirit Visage. It's actually a really good item with the lifesteal on Bork. Increases healing by 25%, right, and the extra lifesteal factors into that, so Blade and Visage is an awesome combo basically. You also have to remember it's your normal auto damage plus the percentage health damage you heal from, which is all going to be boosted by the Visage. So if we move on to Master Yi for kind of similar reasons, again you're stacking attack speed most likely like Blood Razor plus Blade plus Rage Blade or Phantom Dancer, so 15% is not really going to be missed much. The active gives you a bit more upfront damage, you've got more AD and lifesteal, which is super good considering how fast you auto attack and how much lifesteal you're actually going to get back. That one is pretty obvious though. I think Irelia is not as obvious though. You have this extra synergy actually with Irelia, which most people don't think about. Actually kind of similar to Master Yi. You have true damage on your W, right? When you activate it, you're going to start doing true damage on top of your normal auto. So the way to counter that is with health. True damage does ignore armor and magic resist, but it can't really get past health, I guess, in the same way. So the way to counter health stacking though is percentage damage. So Blade. If they try to build to beat your W, then they're going to lose that way to Blade. So it's actually a really good synergy between the two. I would have thought you'd miss the attack speed more than other champions, but actually you have a lot from Trinity Force now, so it's not that bad at all. More AD means better in lane, and again, like magic damage is good for getting through squishy champions. To be honest, Irelia's burst is pretty nutty, so it helps with that. Eventually you're also going to have that Visage and lifesteal synergy most likely too, plus the ultimate healing, which makes her a lot harder to deal with and kill. Yasuo is one that I think did pretty well out of this. Actually, you have enough attack speed from the rest of your kit, I think. Plus, right, you have 100% AD ratio on your Q, so the AD is really nice. More lifesteal is always really good on Yasuo, especially later with the percentage damage healing you do and further and how much you attack. It's kind of the same deal with Zed, actually, in a slightly different way. Zed doesn't want attack speed that much, so more AD and magic damage to burst the squishy is like perfect for him. I'd expect Zed to work this into his core build now, honestly, like especially when lethality reduces their armor and makes your percentage damage on Blade do more overall, so it's more healing as well. I think assassins in general are going to like this item a bit more, but Blade is not the kind of thing you really build early when you're trying to burst someone, really. I guess like 40 AD isn't bad, but there's no arm pen on it, which I think you're going to miss more than anything if you stop rushing a Ghost Blade. I guess a good way to sum this entire video up is if you are only building one attack speed item and that attack speed item was going to be Blade of the Ruined King, then you are going to be really sad. Even just with 2 items, it's going to be a nerf, I think, because attack speed does scale better into the game, but once you get to 3 attack speed items, including Blade, it's actually going to be more of a buff, I think. Late game, obviously, it is going to be a nerf because the 10% maximum health damage was a ton, and also the move speed active nerf is going to mean a little bit more for kiting as an AD carry. Imagine on champions like Jax, actually, because he doesn't really want the AD as much as the attack speed, and also Tryndamere, I don't think it's going to be a buff for those champions, even Shyvana. Even a Master Yi kind of tank build would be a good example, actually, similar to Shyvana. You would go Blood Razor, Blade into something like Sterix Gauge, and then Deadman's. That build is not going to be as good anymore because you are relying on the attack speed from the Blade to carry your blood razor damage. So actually removing 15% there does make a big difference because it reduces your blade percentage health damage and also your blood razor damage. If you get a third attack speed item on Master Yi though, suddenly that doesn't really matter anymore, and that's when I think it really turns into a buff for champions. That is where I think Blade stands late game with the attack speed loss, but early game obviously you have the extra AD and the magic damage, which is going to make it a better rush item. This might not be everyone that was buffed by it, as I said, but it's a good start to show you what type of champions want to use this now and why they want to use it as well. Remember to check out Haste with the link down below if you haven't already. Thank you for watching until the end, and for now, let's go to the robots.